No, I'm not stage fright. I just don't want to tell you.
And good evening, everybody. My name is Maureen Mooney, and I want to welcome you all to the Merrimack Rotary special show, highlighting an annual event that happens in town on Thanksgiving morning, and that is the Turkey Trot 5K Road Race. This is the third year that the Merrimack Rotary Club has sponsored this event, and in the next 20 or so minutes, you'll hear everything about how wonderful it is to get out there on a brisk Thanksgiving morning and run, and all the while raising money for an excellent and well-respected charity in town, and that is the organization of the Merrimack Rotary Club that gives to local charities year after year. So I'm joined here today with two Rotarians. Both have been in the Merrimack Rotary Club for several years now and have worked very hard on numerous events in town. And today they'll tell us all about the 5K road race on Thanksgiving, the Turkey Trot. So with me is Bob Freed.
Hi Maureen, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for joining us. And Barbara Michael.
Good evening. Thank you for having us.
Both are not only members of the Rotary Club of Merrimack, but also longtime residents of Merrimack as well. So let's start with a general overview of the Turkey Trot 5K race that the Merrimack Rotary puts on. If you could just give us a general review of when it takes place and when it is.
Sure. The Turkey Trot, this will be our third year, 2015, and it takes place Thanksgiving morning. Usually the registration, or I should say same-day registration, begins at 7 a.m. The actual race takes place at 8 a.m. in the morning. Something a little different this year that we're excited about. We've changed the course. For many years, there was a course that we ran around the Merrimack High School. This year, it's going to be starting at the middle school, so we're pretty excited about that. Hopefully,
Yes.
We'll get a lot of new runners that'll want to take a chance at the new course.
Excellent. And Barbara, I know you've been working on the Turkey Trot for several years, out there volunteering on sometimes cold mornings. What's your favorite thing about the Turkey Trot?
Oh, that's easy. The favorite of mine is registration. When I see all the different age groups that come in and sign up, and the youngsters, and the families that come in. There, people come with carriages and things and have their young children, and the family walks or runs around the course. So that's really a lot of fun to see who in town comes out on a Thanksgiving morning.
Absolutely. Well, we'll certainly get back to the race, considering that's what our show is about today, in a moment. But before that, I want to talk about the organization in town that puts on, hosts, and runs the Turkey Trot 5K every year, and that is the Rotary Club of Merrimack. So Bob, if you could just give an overview of the Rotary Club of Merrimack and what it does here locally in town.
Sure. The Merrimack Rotary is part of Rotary International. Just to give you a little background, a big overview, there's a little over 1.2 million Rotarians. That's basically in and outside the country. There's about a little over 200 plus countries that have Rotary clubs in them. There's about 33,000 Rotary clubs. Within Merrimack, basically, we're a community service organization like all the other clubs. What we try to do is do things at the local level. It could be anything from supporting the local food banks to getting some coats for kids, for those children that need some winter coats. We've also helped the town as far as sprucing up Kids Cove here locally. Some trail signs we've also put on the various trails. We also handle the rabies clinic. So at a local level, we try to do things, one, to raise money and help the local people, like scholarships for the college students, or I should say the high school students going to college. And then there's a lot that we do on the international level as well. Maybe Barbara wants to point out a few things there.
Absolutely.
Certainly. In all the Rotaries all over the world, they all have locals, which also belong to a district level, and Merrimack belongs to District 7870 that has about 60 clubs, eastern part of Vermont, western part of New Hampshire, north-south divided, and we have activities, and we have to respect some of the things that they ask us to do. and they have activities for us to participate in if we want to. And then on the larger level, Rotary is international, and Rotary is on the website, which is www.rotary.org, and people can get a real understanding about what Rotary is. And Merrimack's big piece of Rotary over the years was in 1998, Hurricane Mitch devastated the Honduras, and we had a connection of a person who worked at Rotary, John O'Leary, worked at Colesman at the time, John O'Leary, and he had an employee whose family lost a lot in Honduras, asked if we could collect clothing. That rolled into a huge project with our district, and the whole of our district 7870 got involved. Clothing, we send people there 2 or 3 times a year through the district. They build hospitals, schools, and they go down there a year. They have a water filter system, so our participation is if people want to go down and give their time and do some things and clean up once or twice a year. We also participate on an international level.
Incredible how much Rotary does. Here on the local level, the club has been in town since 1971, and on the international level. It's multifaceted in both of those areas. If somebody either who lives or works in Merrimack would be interested in joining the Rotary Club of Merrimack, how would one go about doing that?
Well, since you're the president of the Merrimack Rotary Club,
This year, yes.
You can find your phone number in a variety of ways.
That's true.
And ask the question, where is it, and so on and so forth. And it's in the newspaper, many times the Journal. But we meet. We have the opportunity to meet weekly, and we meet at the O'Leary Community Center at 7:15 Thursday mornings, unless it's a holiday or something, and we don't. And we try to participate as much as we can. And if we can't make the meetings, we also have other options of making meetings nationally in our district or internationally. If you travel anywhere in the world or anywhere in the United States or other countries, you can actually go to these meetings and participate and meet people and experience other things. And then you have a makeup, and you get your requirement in for going to as many meetings as you can.
Great. And again, that website for the local chapter is merrimackrotary.org. If anybody's interested certainly in joining or perhaps just attending a meeting on a Thursday morning, 7:15 at the O'Leary Center for a complimentary breakfast, brief meeting, and then always an interesting speaker for a half an hour every Thursday morning. We really have a great time. All right, getting back to the Turkey Trot 5K. So let's talk about, first of all, when it is, the date that it is, and what time the race is, and what time runners typically show up in order to register.
Sure. Well, the race is Thanksgiving morning, which is a Thursday. This year it's November 26th. And the race actually begins at 8 in the morning. Same day registration starts at 7 a.m. Typically, we have Rotary volunteers that are there, usually 6:15, 6:30. It's amazing. A lot of times runners will come very early to register same day. In addition, we have the website, this is important, merrimack5k.com.
Right.
And that is up and running. We already have some registered runners already, but you can always go on there and you can fill out an online form, and you can make payment online, or you can send a check in. In addition, you could also print off the paper form if you prefer to mail it in, and there's always the same day registration that we discussed. As far as early registration, that is an adult fee of $20 to register.
Okay.
Children are $15.
Okay.
Same day registration, adults are $25, and children remain at $15.
Okay. And you're right, that website's phenomenal in terms of information and the ability to register right online, merrimack5k.com. And it's operated by Scott Mortimer, who's a fantastic volunteer here in town, and also did a great job with the Merrimack Rotary's 4th of July Family Fun Day website as well. So he really is great at doing that for our charitable organization. What are the ages that can run in this race?
Yeah, it's really a wide open race. You can be really as young as you can walk. It's as far as the the younger age, and we've had people running that are over their 70s. So there's really is no limitations. Some people will walk. Okay, we've had some parents with baby carriages walking it. So there's really no limit as far as that goes. What we do is we do give out prizes. We've been very fortunate. New Balance has been a great sponsor of ours, and they've given out sneaker gift certificates so that various people who win their age group can actually buy any type of New Balance sneaker that they want if they have their certificate. And they've also been kind enough to also contribute running jackets. And so that's very, very nice of them. And we have a lot of other great sponsors that we help use the money that they give us to get water, snacks for the runners, and then obviously the proceeds that are left over at the end of the event, we've earmarked them this year for a few different things.
That'll be interesting to hear about.
The three things this year that we're earmarking the funds for are local food banks. We're also going to pay for coats for kids for the winter months, and then we're also going to get gifts for the less fortunate around the holiday time.
Right.
So all of the funds collected after we pay the expenses of the race will go to those proceeds, or a combination of those.
It really does speak as to the work that the Merrimack Rotary does. On the 4th of July, on Thanksgiving, selling Christmas trees, it's all about supporting local families that are in need, and local charities in need as well. So it's very important. Now, say somebody was interested, certainly on a Thanksgiving morning, in attending the race, but didn't necessarily want to run the 5K, would they be able to walk it?
Definitely. Yep.
Okay.
You can walk. We do have walkers. You can go at any level, any pace that you want. So that's not a problem at all. We have a lot of people in the past who have walked it. So that's not an issue whatsoever.
Okay. You know, it's amazing. A Thanksgiving morning road race is very popular in New Hampshire. I know that a lot of other towns or organizations also do that, but we've always had a fantastic attendance here in Merrimack. And sometimes you'll even see an occasional person dressed up with a turkey on their head or something along that line, though costumes are not a required part of the race, certainly. Last year, there was an ice storm, and a lot of people were out of power. Nevertheless, the Turkey Trot 5K here in Merrimack was a roaring success in terms of the number of runners and how the course went and so forth. If there were to be inclement weather this year, how would a runner find out that it's postponed or canceled?
Right. I think what we would do is post it on the website, but if you don't have electricity, that could be difficult. Also, the police, we've teamed up with them. They send out nixle alerts.
Right.
So that would be very helpful as far as the cancellation. And then obviously we would still have a staff there if it was canceled, so that if people showed up. So those are really the main ways, depending upon if electricity is out or not.
Yeah.
But last year, the example you gave, it was really a same-day call, and the DPW did a fantastic job of clearing the roads, and there was even a tree down, so we had to alter the course, but we had full staff there. A lot of runners showed up. We still have at least 300 plus runners. We'll see if we can meet that.
That's phenomenal.
We'll see.
And it's interesting, you mentioned the Merrimack Police Department. They are overwhelmingly supportive of this race and of other events that the Merrimack Rotary Club puts on every year. In fact, they're frequent visitors to our club in the morning, giving presentations and so forth, and we're very appreciative of the support and the relationship we have with the Merrimack Police Department.
Many of them run in the Turkey Trot also, so that's always helpful. Yes.
And sometimes it's a little difficult to recognize them when they're in their running gear as opposed to their uniforms, but you figure it out pretty quickly, so that's always good. Let's talk about the new course. You mentioned it's a new course, typically on Thanksgiving morning. People expect to go to the Merrimack High School, not this year.
Correct. I don't know if you could see it, but it is on the website, merrimack5k.com. But here is basically a picture of the course. Probably hard to see maybe on the film here, but if you go to the website, there is a link to that. Basically, we'll be starting off at the middle school by right off of Madeline Bennett Drive.
Right.
We start there. We cross over Babusick Lake onto Danbury, and then we end up going through Maidenstone and then on to Patton Road, and then there's a turnaround. So in prior years there was, I believe, 3 loops that you did for the course. This is basically one way, you go out one way and then you come back. So like I said, I think we're pretty excited about it to see if the change of course excites people as well, but I think it'll work out real well.
Yeah, that's great. So for 3 years in a row and now with a new course, that will be very interesting and very exciting too for our runners to try out something new. So a big part of the Turkey Trot are sponsorships. And I know on our website there are various opportunities to sponsor this race. Could you tell us a little bit about the opportunities to sponsor, and then what a sponsor would receive if in fact they did sign up either on the website or through you to put their name to this event?
Sure. Again, it may be hard to see. This is on the Merrimack5K.com site as well. And it basically breaks down. We have at a $100 level is a bronze sponsor. And basically for that, and I won't go through all of the items, but you do get your name and any type of JPEG or business card or website link on Merrimack5K.com scrolling. There's also, we have a very large Turkey Trot banner that is there the day of the race.
Okay.
So people will see. What we also do is we take that same banner, and when we sell Christmas trees, we also have the Turkey Trot sponsor banner there.
Right.
And that's a very well-attended event. We sell a lot of Christmas trees. There's a lot of local people.
Yes.
So it's another form of exposure for people who sponsor. As well, and then we also have a T-shirt that we give out to the runners. The first 160 this year, we're giving out T-shirts to, and on there is the various sponsors' name. And then as you go up in your sponsorship level, which would be silver at 250, gold at 500, and platinum at 1,000, you get some various add-ons, whether it be larger font on the T-shirts, as far as literature, or other items included in the runner's bag. So I encourage anyone that's interested in finding out more about sponsorship to just go to the website, and you'll see there's a sponsor link on the left side.
And you just pay right online.
Yes, you can pay online. You can send a check in. We've been really fortunate. We've had some of the same sponsors for the last 3 years. We've added some this year, and it's still a little bit early, but there is a cutoff because we need to get them on the T-shirt. So that's something that we want to be mindful of.
Sure.
We've been very fortunate.
And if a viewer were interested in who has sponsored the event so far this year, they could go to Merrimack5K.com, click on the left-hand side. I know that there's an icon for sponsors, and you can see all of those businesses and individuals who have sponsored the event this year in 2015. Also, at the end of this program, we'll have a scroll of those that have sponsored up until this point. But of course, we always welcome more, that's for sure.
Nice.
And like you mentioned, all the benefits of sponsoring. It's great to put your name alongside the Rotary Club of Merrimack to show that you support local charities in town.
Correct, and you don't have to be a business to sponsor. We have some individuals that would contribute money. The key thing to remember, it's a really good cause. I know runners are excited to get out there, so they do it for the run, which is great.
Yes.
But even if you don't run, and we've had some people just sign up ahead of time for $20, they don't even show up. But the $20 goes towards
donation,
the donation. So that's another way that somebody could help if they wanted to.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of different ways. You don't have to be a business.
And as you mentioned, the board of directors for the Rotary Club of Merrimack earmarked essentially where the proceeds of the race will go. And those were, again, I know you mentioned them earlier, but just to hear them again.
Yes, we're going to earmark those for coats for kids.
Right.
And that basically is kids that do not have warm winter coats. We get a list from the local department here, and we supply them with them. We're also going to get gifts for the less fortunate for the holiday time, whether it be picking off a tree or adopting a family. We'll see you at that time what the need is. And then lastly, some local food banks or kitchens right here in Merrimack. We'll donate either money or goods combination.
Right, that is so important to know that the proceeds from this race and all the things that the Merrimack Rotary Club does goes right back to the community, to those who are most in need right here in our very town. So that's really important, definitely. Okay, say somebody necessarily wasn't interested in running but wanted to help, volunteer, how would they do that? And what sorts of things or assignments would a volunteer end up doing?
Sure, with that, again, I'll point you to the website, because if you want to volunteer, there's a link to do that as well.
Right.
With the new course, I don't think we're going to have quite as many road volunteers as prior years.
Okay.
But we'll still need them. So if you wanted to volunteer, there's a few things. It would be basically handling some course direction would be one avenue. We also have registration runners tables and unregistered runners tables. So we have people there that sometimes need to man a list to check the runners in and out. We're also giving out T-shirts. So we have to
Right.
figure out the sizes, things like that, and ask the runners so they can help with that. And there's also a lot of beforehand items. In the past, Panera has been nice enough to furnish all sorts of baked goods, so we have to bring that in, as well as cups and raffle tickets and things like that. So there's there's items that a volunteer could do as well as during the race or during the registration. So plenty to do.
Exactly. One thing Barb said earlier is just what a family event this is, and it is great. That's my favorite part of the race,
Yeah,
frankly, is seeing on
absolutely.
a brisk Thanksgiving morning, families of all ages all together doing a fun activity. Everybody has a great time. So
Yeah,
that
it's
is
amazing. It's amazing. It's cold. Last year it was wet. People came from homes that had no electricity for days.
right.
As it ended up, half of us, the volunteers, we came from homes that had no electricity, but we were all out there, and thanks to the DPW and the police, and Bob is the chairman again of this, and the communication is excellent, and we all had a great time.
Absolutely. And then once the race is over, the results of the race can be found online. In fact, the 2 previous years can be found on merrimack5k.com.
Yes.
And I know that, as with all 5K road races, there's a hire out in order to have someone manage the race and the time, so it's all accurate. Most people are very serious about what time they come in and so
Right.
forth. And who is it that will do that this year?
Yeah, we use 3C Race.
Okay.
And what's nice about it, it's a fellow by the name of Mike Amato. He's a local Merrimack resident, so it's keeping it local as well.
Oh, wow.
And he does a bunch of races, and he has us listed on, if you were to just Google and come up with various 5Ks that we're running throughout the state, ours would be on there because we're linked through his site.
Yeah.
So basically, he and his staff keeps the time of everybody. And he also was the one that put together the new course that has to be measured to make sure it is a 5K. So he did that for us over this past winter, spring, to get us ready for this year. Also, in addition to having the results listed on the website, after the race, hopefully people stay around, which they do. We actually then name the winning times
Yes.
and the winning category prizes. And it's sort of nice. Like I say, a lot of people still stick around for that. Also, at a certain sponsorship level, we do a call out to those sponsors, those businesses or people that have given a certain dollar amount, just so they're recognized, so people could maybe patronize them, or at least know that they dedicated funds or time to pull this off for us.
Right. It's always a good excuse to say an extra thank you to somebody who helps
exactly.
local charities through the
Right.
Rotary Club of Merrimack. It's hard to believe we're running out of time, but I do want to put a quick mention in about the Interact Club, a Merrimack High School Extension Club, which from the Merrimack Rotary. Do you want to say just a few words on that, Barb?
Sure. The Interact Club is a spin-off of the Rotary Club, and they're for younger people 12 to 18. So in high school, they have an Interact Club. It's a school-based club here. There are different ways of organizing Interact, and we have some wonderful educators at the high school who are advisors, and I happen to be the liaison Rotary advisor. So we mentor them. We help in the leadership role. They have an executive board. They're self-governed. They organize their whole year. They look for things to do. They do so many more things than we do. They just went to Loudon to raise some money to pick up garbage after the race, and they came back with several $100s. They'll do some things with the seniors in town. They just helped at the blood bank at the Wasserman Park. At Wasserman Park, there's a rec event of some sort at Halloween. They always help out there. They will help us set up, some of them will help us set up for the Christmas tree sales. Some of them will sign up to sell the Christmas trees with us. And there's just a variety of things, and they end up the year with a senior citizens barbecue. we did at the high school the last couple of years, but this has been going on for years, and we just have a really, really great time. And then in June, they have officers for the next year, and they organize for the next year.
Absolutely.
And they're off the summer, and they help us with the pancake breakfast and the 4th of July. A lot of volunteerism, a lot of service, a lot of service.
Absolutely. And how great is it to expose a younger generation to the works of the Merrimack Rotary Club. So thank you so much, Barb. Thank you, Bob.
Oh, you're welcome.
We hope to see you, our viewers, on Thanksgiving morning, November 26th this year, starting at 7 a.m. registration for an 8 a.m. road race, 5K, Merrimack 5K, Turkey Trot 5K, and we'll see you on a new course. Remember, the gathering time and space is going to be at the Merrimack Middle School on Madeline Bennett Drive. And don't forget to go to merrimack5k.com if you're interested in registering for the race, sponsoring, volunteering. We could use it all. Thank you very much. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next time.